Whoa, I almost pulled a Tory. I did not have my microphone. You still don't have your mic.
Yes,
Why are
I do.
you guys watching this? We are 2 months in and we are unable to locate either host. You got a 50% chance that one will be like, you know what? Using the mic today. Nope. Sorry, colleague.
Man.
What's up, y'all? Tory digging the shoulder pads. You told me to mention them.
Yeah, they're just a little aggressive.
They're a little bit runway. You know how like on the runway, everything's supposed to be a little bit more extreme?
Yeah, a little exaggerated.
Yeah, that's good though. It's very like stylish. It's like you can go into a coffee shop that's like only for white women that make over 150 grand a year and just walk in and be like, yeah, what's up? I don't need to look at the menu. I know the maple latte is seasonal.
I definitely don't deserve
it though. I like it. What shoes do you have on? Oh, Jesus. That is just like, and then I hope that was the trash can those went in. No, those are nice. Those just, I don't know if those go with those.
No, I wear sweatpants to leave when I leave.
Okay.
It is really warm out, actually. And I got to be honest, it's like a beautiful day. It's one of those days that feels like you're in the bath. Do you know what I mean? Like that warm, the wind is warm, the sky looks beautiful, the trees are all golden, and it's like really warm. So I was overheated. But anyway, I just, I like wearing sweatpants. So sue me.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside, but it's also terrifying because there's no doubt that global warming is happening. It is November. And it is borderline.
It's 71
shorts and flip-flops.
It's 71 degrees. Yeah, no, totally.
I just wonder like how long this would have to go on where it's like 91 on December 3rd in Anchorage. And they're still like, I'm a climate skeptic. I'm sorry, lib. He's like got a tank top on. Like, okay, snowflake. We haven't seen one of those in 8 years, but whatever. I do like the refusal to never be wrong. Let's tell the colleagues we got together last night.
Yeah, we did a lovely thing, you guys, last night. I went over to Alan Sar's and had some Thai food and did a really great kind of exercise, I thought. Didn't you think?
I did too. I'm turning this light down because it's very, very aggressive behind me.
Yeah.
Let's do that. How about a little sexiness? Oh yes. Oh yeah, ladies. Sorry.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we did an exercise where, and it's funny, before this started, I had to promise my girlfriend and Tory that I would take it seriously. And I did. And the first thing was like, it sounds like it would be something that I would make fun of, but it was really helpful. We had to go through and chart our entire life with drawings and talk about the good times and the really, really down times from birth to today. And it was just like, I feel like we all learned a lot about each other and our crazy backstories. We found out a friend of ours ran a credit card scam ring.
That was crazy.
And all these things. And we were even talking about on the way to the car, but it just like shows that life is long and like we have these ups and downs, and the things that happen to us at both points in the journey affect us where we are today. So I am glad we did it.
Her name is it's a friend of SARS. Michael Dean's asking,
let's call her A.
And then also what's interesting is when we ran around and shared, the other 3 people would notice patterns that you might not have seen and then ask questions about that. And I thought that was so interesting. It was just really cool, like, to do that. So we recommend you guys doing that. Maybe we'll do it together on the show together.
Right. And I'd be willing. I was thinking today, I think SAR collected them all, but I'd be willing to show my chart, and you can just see like things that you thought are in your rearview mirror. You're like, oh, after my dad passed away, it was followed by a really down period. But I don't think when you're in that down period, you associate it with that. Right. So I thought it was interesting, and see what happens when I'll take something seriously. Good things.
Good things. All right.
Speaking of good things, Tory, before we get to the day's news, to which there is a lot of, wanted to bring a little bit of joy. I think I sent you and Michael Dean screenshots of text messages between my ex-wife, myself, and my girl SAR this morning. And my ex-wife always chimes in and lets me know funny things that Ford has done or said. So this is what she sent. All right, now Tori, I don't know if you can see this, but where it says Genesis, is it okay if I get some rest? That's Ford's iPad. Jen was like, he stayed home from school because he wasn't feeling well. So he was already in the bed. And he wrote that and brought it to her. Like, whoops, I meant to blur out that effing word. Yeah, but he meant to he didn't have to, she was like, he didn't have to do this. He just wanted to get up and be passive aggressive. And we talked about the funny things that he's done to her. And right here, Tory, at the top, why don't you read what my ex-wife Jen texts, where it starts with also
Okay.
the other day.
Also, the other day we went to pick up something and we got home. He started to go straight to his room. I asked if he wanted food and he looks me straight in the face and says, I'm going to return my undies to my undies first.
They got In and Out. That's what's covered up by the time. They went to In and Out. And so Jen's like, do you want to eat? And he's like, I need to put on my underwear first and then come back out. And then I can eat. And basically, I was just like, Ford has mastered joy. He has the attitude of a super happy person, but the attire of a clinically depressed one. And he just walks around the house in his underwear like, I like this. And so, I thought on a day where we've got lots to discuss, at least, Ford brought a little joy to our life.
Way to go, Ford. I love him.
My man. So, and really quickly, tonight, if you are in the Beaver Creek area in Colorado, I will be performing with Hannibal Buress tonight at the Villar Performing Arts Center.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So, I just looked at the theater. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous theater. So I'll take pictures and I will share them with the group upon my return. But if you're in the area and you need something to do tonight, come out and see me and my boy HB do a little bit of stand up. All right, Tory. Stand up. Eventually, I'm going to get you to do some stand up, girl. It's going to happen.
I know.
Yeah, you're going to do it. Here we go. Let's do it. All right, Tory, I think we've all been following the story of, I want to make sure I say it right. Is it Marshawn Kneeland? Yes, Marshawn Kneeland died at 24 years old. Initial reports to me, Tory, were grim in that, whenever the news does what I appreciate them doing, which is trying to show discretion, it's just like they were found in their home. No foul play is suspected. That's kind of code for just like, what's up.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by this story.
They used the word tragically passed away, and that tragic was like something happened.
Yeah, what did you get from the story? And why don't you kind of briefly run down? It seems like there was a car chase between him and the police.
Yeah, so this is Marshawn. You can see him right here. He's 24 years old. He had just scored a touchdown, his first touchdown. He was like a starter, like a huge starter on the Dallas Cowboys.
And he came from a small school, Tour. He came from Western Michigan. Yeah. He didn't come from like a big school where you're expected to kind of go to the NFL. He went to Western Michigan, which is a nice sized college, but not known for bringing in a lot of NFL players. So he really started from the bottom. Now we're here, kind of did it,
Yeah, I know people who went to Western Michigan when I was at Michigan. He scored a touchdown on Monday. Yeah. And he was doing really well. Great pictures of him like cheering. And he's, I think, a linebacker. Like he's not,
but he was a defensive lineman, and that's why
he was on the defense, and he scored.
So cool. He scored. Yeah, it happens maybe once or twice in your career, and he did it.
Right. And then so what happened was there was we think, and again, this is all coming out kind of slowly, but he was in his car, and something happened where the police started chasing him, and he kept not stopping for the police, and they chased him, and then he crashed his vehicle. He got out on foot and he started running, evading police who also ran on foot, and chased him. He went into the woods, and then eventually, I believe, a porta potty kind of thing, where he found, and he started calling his girlfriend, and he started calling his parents, and they called the police and said, he's having suicidal ideations. Please be careful. And unfortunately, he had a gun with him and he unalived himself. I don't know if you can say that. And he couldn't deal with either being caught or, I don't know. My mind always goes also to CTE, only because of football and things like that. He did text his family goodbye and his girlfriend. So, just a horrible, tragic I mean, it did not have to go that way at 24, and he was a rising star, and it's just a really, really, really sad situation. There he is with his family. 24 is so young,
He's a
so
baby.
young. Yeah, as a baby. And so it's just a really sad story. And yeah, I just
I
did.
mean,
It's horrible.
Tory, you know,
Horrible.
we'll never know, even though some players do dedicate their brains to medical research after they're done playing, because they want it to be studied, what happens with mental health. This is not a subject that the NFL wants to talk about a lot, and this is a subject that I feel uncomfortable kind of talking about right now because we don't know. But it is the reason we think that is we've had at least a dozen examples of that. So
Yeah,
it's
the only
not
yes.
some wild headlining grabbing thing we're doing. We're just looking at a pattern and observing what seems to be a very sad pattern. But even if
Yeah.
it wasn't Tory, it seems like there was a history. He seemed like, for whatever reason, somebody that was having a mental health episode.
Yeah, and now unfortunately, this is gonna sound a bit graphic, and I apologize, but the brain has to be intact, and unfortunately, he did shoot himself in the head, so I don't know if they'll be able to, but I just I mean, I just there's nothing to say other than I wish his family all the peace and light and love, and that I feel so bad. I just feel awful for him. Was such a rising star.
And just, you know what, Tory, I
Just
thought about is like, I think that we pull out and we see like the view from 30,000 feet, and just like this could be CTE and all the Cowboys fans and what is the team going to do. But if you zoom in and just look at this family,
yeah, the
you
mother,
know,
just a
and just like the high that they were on, they're watching it'd be like watching, our beloved Bert, win Wheel of Fortune on Monday, and then Thursday I don't even want to speak that into existence, but it's
yeah,
just the range of emotions
totally. The high and
and
low.
right. It's just
Right.
like the high, you're watching your baby boy, or like I used to babysit that kid. There's a wide receiver on the Texans. His last name's Higgins. I forgot what his first name is, but my friend Forrest, who's on this show last week filling in, his best friend growing up in Florida, that's his son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's like you can turn on the TV and be like, I remember like reaching up and getting that kid Kool-Aid because he couldn't reach it, and now he's like catching balls in the Texan stadium. It's like there's a connection that we all have with these younger people, and seeing them living their lives, and to have that cut down so quickly is just, like I said, it's unspeakable. And we just want to wish his family well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, is
All
it
right.
Jaden Higgins? Is it Jaden Higgins?
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Gigi. You're so smart.
Thank you. Yeah, Jaden Higgins. That's my boy. Forrest. I remember he would come over to Forrest. If you guys heard the stories that Forrest was telling about when he had to go in for gambling, that condo, I remember meeting Jaden a couple of times. He was like a kid. His dad was like a real man, like he like could fix things. And so I don't know if he worked on cars or was just a general contractor, but he would come over in a pickup truck, and Jane would be with him. I do not know him, and he would not know me, but I remember like, oh, he's a little guy. And then I remember Forrest telling me like, oh, he's playing on TV right now. I was like, oh, all right. And then he was a star at Iowa State. Shout out Ames.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever been to Ames, Iowa?
No, but it's always in the crossword puzzle.
Oh, interesting. I could see that. Iowa's a fun little place. I've had some good times there.
I've heard it's very fun. Very fun.
It's all corn. It's all corn. It's not like a stereo. Yeah.
I love corn.
I just made some right now. All right, girl. Let's get to this one. Yes. Oh, yes, Tory. We are moving on. I love this segment. Sponsored by sponsors that we love. Shout out to Spider Moving and Storage. They have taken care of us. I text Vlad earlier today. I invited him over for football this Sunday because I'm going to be in Tan. So hopefully he will come through. But in the meantime, do yourself a favor and call Vlad and them boys. They're over there at Spider Moving and Storage. The number is, Tory,
720-545-3187.
That's right, Tory. And this story that we're doing today is inspired by Spider Moving and Storage. And that is these elections, because Tory, it seems like the people are moving on. Talk to us.
Seems a little bit like it. So we know that New York City Mayor Zohran, I think it's Zohran. I hope I'm saying that right.
Zohran
Mamdani.
Mamdani.
Yeah,
Yes.
he took the lead in an outstanding way. It was just a sort of a rout for him, and gave a very fiery speech, very fiery, directed at Trump, and said,
Turn the
"Turn
volume
the
up.
volume up." And I was like, dang. So, again, as a Jew, I'm a little wary from some of the things he has said, but he has been willing to work with rabbis. And just the other day, or I think it was yesterday, there was a swastika spray painted, and he vehemently put out a tweet that was like, we will find this person. Anti-Semitism will not be allowed in my city. And it was just like the right way to handle it. Like, it was a very strongly worded
And he also sent a
message.
message to Jewish folks in that fiery speech you're talking about. And he
Yes.
said, I want Manhattan to be a place where my Jewish brothers and sisters feel as safe as any place on the planet.
Yeah. So
So, you know,
he knows, he's getting it, that that's an issue. So we also had a huge race in Virginia. This is the first time we've gotten a woman. I believe she's governor.
yes.
Yes, and Obama stumped for her as well. She had a great speech too. New Jersey as well. It was just a blue wave basically. And I want to say that what's so interesting is someone wrote a tweet that says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Trump wrote a tweet and said, I wasn't on the ballot, and the government shut down by the Democrats are why we didn't win." And someone wrote, "Trust me, bitch, you were on the ballot." And it's just a way of saying, like, that was a direct call from the people who joined all those million marches of no kings to say, we don't like the direction this country is going. And it was a sweep. And it was a really big sweep. And you could tell Trump was very frustrated. And Caitlin Collins of CNN called out, you seem very frustrated by the results. And he goes, that'll be all. Thank you. So it was, and the gerrymandering situation in California worked out. Prop 50. And so I'm just very impressed by the turnout. I'm thinking I agree, Julia. I think the message was very much received. And that's what the people want. So we'll see in the midterms.
Well, Tory, speaking of received messages, I think what happens is, we get used to the Democratic and Republican establishment, and they're kind of just in their places for the most of our adult lifetimes. I'm talking about Chuck Schumer, the Nancy Pelosi's, but they also received that message from the base. And I'm not sure. I mean, Nancy Pelosi has served her time and she has decided not to run for re-election, but I think she sees the writing on the wall that there is a different Democratic base that is not for politics in the way that they've always been done, because this Democratic regime has shown to be not a worthy contender of Trump. I put the Biden administration in there as well. His DOJ did nothing for 4 years and did nothing to prosecute the crimes that happened. I know January 6th, they were prosecuted and let out, but just even the show of letting people know, if you do stuff that and we all know is illegal while your party's in power, you will face repercussions. Mom will come home from work eventually and see that you broke that lamp.
Yeah, there's consequences.
Yeah. So I think that there was a lot of failures on the Democratic side. And I think the public cares about elections, cares about midterms, cares about local elections, and the stuff that used to just slide like, oh, no, Pelosi, check her name. That ain't it no more, Jack.
Yeah. And AOC, just to finish this moving on thing, said something that went viral. Whether you like AOC or not, she said not only did he beat the Republicans, but he beat the old guard of Republicans. So not only did he have one front of just beating Republicans, what you just said is this established group, he beat them. That shows you a brand new take on what people are looking for. And as I've always said, you guys have heard me, a younger generation needs to be in Congress. And I call them the school shooting generation. And I believe that we can find bipartisanship in gun control because of the school shootings. And we're looking for Mamdanis, and we're looking for people that get how to fight fire with fire, that get social media, that walk the walk and are out there hitting the streets like all the time. And he just did everything right. So again, a little troubling with some of the stuff he said about Judaism, but I thought his campaigning was an A+. Amazing. I do want to say that the Gordon, the guy who someone passed out in the Oval Office, and Dr. Oz, I believe, was standing right there, saw him, sort of caught his head, brought him down. Thanks, Michael Dean. Dr. Oz is there leaning down, like the farthest to the right, and he's got his head here. If you can see the legs go up, that's what you need, blood to go back into the head. So it was great that Dr. Oz was there. The photograph, though, with Trump standing by doing nothing, speaks sort of for itself. Now, again, I know he's not a doctor.
I can't even focus on the guy because I'm just looking at Trump, and this is like, it's so apropos of how he views anything that doesn't directly involve him. Look at just the concern on those people's faces. Like, a man is flat on his back, and Trump, first of all, how you think them eyes looking, Bo?
Yeah. And
he doesn't look like a person that's engaged in the moment. Even if you don't care, it's like when somebody drops a glass at a restaurant, you look over.
Yeah, you do something. You show concern on the face. You know what I mean? I know that RFK also walked quickly away, even though he's in part of the Health and Human Services. But it is, I joined a Reddit group called Accidental Renaissance. I think I've told you. And this painting is, this photograph almost looks Renaissance-like, where you have all the motion on one side with that triangle, and then the stillness of Trump with the face. It says a lot in one picture. It says a lot that he was upstaged. He didn't like it. He wasn't concerned. He's down. He's upset. And then the fervor on the right side. It's just such a drastic change. So,
and Tory, before we move on from this, we cannot leave out that this isn't a rando that he doesn't care about. This isn't one of the masses. This is a man that's in the Oval Office with him. So I'm assuming he's in there because he bought a couple very expensive dinners and maybe greenlit a book deal after his presidency. You know, code words for money laundering. But you don't get close to that man without it giving him a significant amount of money. And the fact that there's a person that you at least know their first name.
Yeah, he did react
last night. If A had passed out at my place, imagine if you were like, "So are we still doing the exercise?"
Yeah, right.
You would look psychotic.
I know, and I do want to say he did move over and get up. Like, Sue Kitchen is right. He did sort of react, and then he sort of backed away, maybe to give some space. And the Dr. Oz was there, who is a cardiologist, but it's just an interesting picture in time of what sort of the metaphor is. I also want to say, someone said someone needs to tell him that his ties are too long. He has gone on Stern and other talk shows and said he purposefully makes the ties that length, and it's a little phallic, and it's right at the point of the man's parts.
Okay.
And they say that that's why, is he's trying to emphasize almost like an arrow right to his parts.
We got it. we got it a while back, and we have it now. I mean, that's something I'll never forget. All right, Tory, let's get to how about we get to a little good news? How about that? We'll do a little one of these.
That's good.
And then we'll do one of these. All right, baby girl, we got some good news involving sandwiches. And while we're on the topic of delicious sandwiches, shout out to Snarfs.
Snarfs,
one of our newest sponsors. They have taken care of us in food and swag, and they have opened my eyes to a world, because I'm always like, I can make myself a sandwich. You can't.
You just can't.
You can't make that sandwich.
No.
And the steak and provolone sandwiches, we met head up in a dark alley, and they clearly control me, because sometimes I'm driving, I'm like, let me just get one. I'll just eat half now. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in my car listening to sports radio, finishing the second half. So,
and I get the tuna, guys, and I'm not like a huge tuna friend, but I get the tuna from Snarfs. It's my favorite.
All right, well, Tory, we have some news related to sandwiches.
Yeah,
that isn't just your preference. Tory, do you remember a couple months ago when a gentleman, I believe in DC, hit an ICE officer or a federal officer, somebody in uniform, that was in town to F with the citizens. Hit him with a sandwich.
He hit him with a sandwich. I think we have the video, but no sound. Is that right, Michael Dean? This is him angry. Now, he was also part of the federal government.
Yes.
The FBI, they get a sub thrown. So he's screaming, which he has every right to do, freedom of speech. And then he throws the sandwich at him.
Yeah.
And so a judge, he was taken to court, and a judge has ruled him a non-guilty for the sub throw heard round DC. Now we want to know, as for Snarfs.
Yeah, it got us thinking.
Yeah, what sandwich, and colleagues, I need you guys to write in here. What sandwich would you think is the strongest weapon? Like, what would hurt the most? Because the judge said, I don't know if it was a she, excuse me, that it wasn't like it wasn't going to harm the FBI agent. So what sandwich would be the hardest that you would not want to be hit with the most?
See, Tory, I thought of it differently because I'm selfish and I love to eat. My thing was, what sandwich would I want to be hit with?
Oh!
And I went through a couple, and what I've landed on is a meatball sub. Because a meatball sub, and Michael Dean is letting us know it wasn't a judge tour, it was a jury.
Oh, jury. Sorry about that.
Right. So it couldn't be assault. And I like that.
Yeah, he didn't harm anyone. He didn't intend to cause harm. So that was a non-guilty by, I'm so sorry, by a jury, not a judge. Lucy says,
doesn't it make you feel better to know that the citizenry was like, nah, he's not getting in trouble for this?
And let me tell you, I know DC, and we are 99.9% against the ICE agents being there, the FBI being there. I mean, it's a blue district, so blue. We're not a state, but it is a very blue district. I do want to say, someone said tuna. Lucy said tuna would be bad because you would smell all day.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought that was a really smart idea. Someone said a Reuben sandwich. By God, as a Jew, I would not want you wasted. The waste of the pastrami and the sauerkraut and the Russian dressing.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah.
See, Booker, I feel you guys. Shelley, hard salami and Swiss. Now, yes, those are bad ones to get hit with. But if I want to get hit with a sandwich, I already kind of mash up the meatballs in my meatball sub anyway. So if somebody hits me with the sandwich, I just pick it up off the ground, say, thank you. You saved me a little bit of meatball mushing. And then I go along my way. That's my that's how I think about life, is what kind of food I would like to be hit with and then eat. So shout out to Snarfs, and shout out to the people for realizing that this story was some bull.
Yeah, they tried to indict him on felony charges of the sandwich, and the only felony was he didn't get to eat it. I don't know. That wasn't good. I'm so sorry.
I will say this, Tory, before we move on, and this might be taking it a little too deep, but I think this is a bigger issue in that the Trump people can't make an example out of this guy.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it like back in the day in the early 2000s when streaming first came out and people were downloading music illegally. What they did was they prosecuted one or two people really badly.
Right.
One guy, and said, like, this is what happens. And it became kind of an urban legend. Don't download music. You could get sued for $2 million.
That's right.
Having a citizen openly stand up to a guard like that, if they felt more powerful this time, if they felt like they had the will of the people with them, this guy's a perfect example to say, you know what? That could have hit that officer in the eye. We're going to give him 2 years in Leavenworth. Because what scares everybody else is protesting against ICE. Anybody else that wants to try and get a little frisky or fresh with ICE, they're like, hey, that guy got 2 years. I can't afford that. But they don't feel comfortable. They know that they let this go. And it shows you, it's kind of like a weird bellwether for like where they feel in terms of the strength of like, are the people, is the general consensus with them or not? And I think this last wave of elections showed us.
Yeah, DC, my friends, not interested in charging that man with a felony by assault. By the way, I have to give Jag in Arizona a shout out for Jerry Seinfeld reference when he's trying to get the last rye and this older woman has it. He goes, give me the rye, you old bag. It's so funny. So nice one. But yeah, people said egg salad, liverwurst. I'm just giving you the last one. Hard salami and a good Cuban.
Oh, I haven't had a good Cuban in a long time.
Either, actually.
Yeah, we got to get on that. All right, Tori, we got to get to this because it's terrifying. And what the F? Tori, I know you saw what's going on in Louisville. Yes, UPS plane. The engine fell off. We have on the screen midair that it seemed like it was seconds after takeoff. Like that plane's not even.
Oh shit! Oh my fucking God!
Sorry for the language.
I think that's appropriate language in this situation.
I agree. I think it's appropriate too. So far, we have 12 that have been. Is that right? And 9 that are missing. 12 that have passed, and 9 that are missing still. Okay.
That's what it was right before we started the show. Tory, they're saying that the engine. I mean, because I looked at still shots as well. There's no engine on the left wing.
Oh,
it
wow.
must have fallen off immediately. And part of what I know about being a pilot, which is next to nothing, is don't they literally go out and walk around the plane and check everything? Like that's part of like what the pilots do. So I don't know if it was on.
Okay, so just so you guys know,
that looks like AI. That's how scary
it really
that
does.
is.
It really does. The pilot's checklist is a really famous thing that they do every day. And actually, some therapist taught me that checklists are great for people that have trouble sticking to it, because it makes you go through things even though you think it's just routine. So I don't understand this other than to say this. When I think of the deregulation that's going on, I think of engines falling off of planes. They just announced too, they're taking 10% of all flights out for Thanksgiving after November 10th. So make sure you
major airports
for major, including Denver,
Denver, which is a hub for United.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Oh,
see, Tori, that plane didn't like crash. That plane did not get off there. I think that engine fell off immediately. Yeah. And that's why the plane's tilted like that already, and it just goes down. There's no engine on that side.
Yeah,
and Tori, it must be said, I've been on this planet a long time, and it wasn't until Trump appointed the guy from Road Rules, Sean Duffy, that we are constantly seeing planes running into helicopters. We are seeing near misses on the runway. We now have no, not that it's his fault, but our air traffic controllers are not getting paid. Our TSA are not getting paid. And yes, those might be two different departments, but it's all in the same sack of you know what.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you appoint, such a major position as somebody that came off the show Road Rules. You know who else came off Road Rules? Theo Vaughn. And I don't think he would tell you. I know Theo. I don't think he would tell you he should be running transportation and safety. So, I mean, Tori, like, when will people stop thinking it's like owning the libs to appoint somebody to a very serious position, RFK, that you are not qualified in any way, Linda McMahon?
Yeah, I do want to say that this administration in particular likes to hire sports stars, reality stars. I mean, he himself, Trump, is a reality show star. So it's very interesting who he picked. That is not the norm. I mean, that is really, really not the norm for what most people do. They put people in that have had some type of, like, if you're going to be the Secretary of Education, you've been in a classroom before, you've taught public school, you've done something.
Right.
But very, very clearly, it is all about fame, the name, the star power. And
isn't there,
I'm concerned
Michael Dean, if you could find this exact stat, but I think it's the number of former Fox hosts that are in government positions. It's like 28 or 32. Yeah. I think it's 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all,
it's
ridiculous.
Insane. And then we go, well, how did this happen? This is what happens, Tori, when you just have people. What if they told you today at Coco, you're going to be in charge of directing all the shots and making sure all the commercials run? Yeah, it'll be a disaster.
Of course. I don't know what I'm doing. I can just talk out loud for a living. That's all I know.
Yeah, but you've been really nice to me around the station. I like your face, and I think you're cute. So we'll just give you this job.
Totally.
It's the only result when you put people in charge of positions that you never think about, because they are run by competent people. As soon as you take those competent people out and put the RFK people in, what do we have now? A measles outbreak.
Yeah.
What is this? late 1400s.
That's
We're gonna have cholera breaking out next.
Dysentery. As
Yeah.
of late 2025, there are at least 19 former Fox News pundits and producers who were selected for senior positions in Trump's second administration. I also want to say Amy here, she actually works for the FAA and wrote in the number of engineers who have retired because of Trump and his changes to the FAA. Very clearly, we've seen a lot of people even just walk out because a lot of scientists, people at the CDC, some of them have been fired and some are like, I cannot put up with this. So go ahead,
please.
No, my last thing I'm worried about is this whole thing. So 20% of planes are already delayed every day. They're taking down 10% of all planes and flights from major airports for Thanksgiving. That's going to get us to about 30%, close to 40%. And I read this from our friend Jessica Taylor, who is a Alaska airline pilot. She posted today, and I'm concerned about going home for Thanksgiving because I'm not sure I'm going to make it. I mean, they told me when I went to San Francisco, they were like, we're only allotting certain times now, and we don't have enough air traffic controllers, so you're going to have to wait another hour. And I was like, this is
these
insanity.
are things that you've never heard before, things you've never thought about.
Yeah.
It's insane, and we're headed into a holiday season.
Right. That's what I'm worried about.
I just feel like this country is completely vulnerable. And you know, Tory, you said something and it just sparked this connection about what we've always seen with this administration. It's like you were talking about, you know, the attack on the CDC, the dismantling of the CDC, the attack on people that work for the FAA and things like that. Well, what do those people do? Why was Elon Musk so desperate to buy his way into the government and then employ Doge and gut all these? It's because those departments sniff out corruption.
Right.
They don't allow you, if you're running the CDC, to put a magic pill out, a magic, gut health pill that's going to end up giving a bunch of people bowel cancer. They don't let you do that. But when those people aren't there, oh, guess what? Dr. Oz has something that he had a pill that cured autism or something. I was like, are you effing? That's why all these people are doing this. They are paying their way into the government. So they're like, okay, it'd be like if I was under investigation for the IRS, I paid Trump $500,000. Now I've got some IRS position. I'm like, the first thing we're going to do is fire everyone that was looking into my case. Totally. And then I'm going to replace them with Michael Dean and another good friend of mine. I bet they won't find the same things.
Yeah,
so
loyalty
this is about corruption.
Loyalty takes over. Loyalty and money take over competency, and then you're in danger. And we see things like this.
Yes, but they'll blame it on Biden some way somehow. Yes. All right, Tory. Let's do this. I think this maybe it's our first show where we've used this twice. Tory, we're talking coffee. But not the actual coffee. That would be boring unless it's $1,000 cup of coffee. Tory, we're talking about these mugs, son. Yes, tell me about, because I'm a black man. I know nothing about a Starbucks mug.
So they always come out with holiday cups, Starbucks, but this one is a glass bear with a little beanie, and they are $30. Okay, it's not $300.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, $30.
No, it is not.
Yeah, now get this. Our good friend, I'm not going to name names, went out of her way this morning to get them. There are only like 2 in each store. So now people are selling and upselling them because people need this. And it's a little bit, they're catching, thanks, Michael Dean, $300 now on eBay. They're going for that. I kind of agree with Lucy. It is really cute. I'm not going to lie. I find that very cute. But this is when they say the words over consumerism, that's a pretty good example of what's going on. But yeah, you are allowed to keep them for 30, but there's so few, which is a good supply and demand, right? You want them now, you can't get them. So now you're going on eBay and you're spending 10 times the amount. So
Tory, if you can't find one in a store, I think I have a solution for you.
Get a honey jar.
Go to your grandmother's and get the original squeezable honey.
That's what
that is such a ripoff from the first Honey Bear. They just put a little beanie on it because it wants to be emo. And they're charging $30. What's next? Mrs. Butterworth with a Yankees hat on? That we've seen this outfit. But it's the bear from. I've seen that bear at my grandmother's house. It brings nostalgia.
Yeah, it does. But I think, first of all, they did that on purpose to bring up nostalgia for this season. But people who are like, have to get the new TikTok thing, these are the people they're going for. And I'm not one of those people. I don't want to judge people who are, but people have gone to like 6 different stores today to try and find the bear. So what would you guys pay? Put in the chat. How much, Al, would you pay for that bear? And it's made out of glass.
Okay. How much would I pay? Whatever the cost. I feel like the cost of the cup of coffee is enough. I wouldn't pay, because I would be one of those people that had that and not even known, and just like some hot chicks like, can I have that when you throw? I'm like, yeah, baby. And then she walks away. I'm rich. I'm like, yeah.
That's funny.
I thought this chick just wanted my garbage. Tory, do you think this is just kind of like what we've seen since the beginning of Cabbage Patch Kids, where there is it's supply and demand, really just in an adorable form?
Yeah. And Lee, I love people saying 15, 12. Lee now just said $0. But there is a type of consumerism that's like, if there's few and it's popular and it's a holiday collectible, like you could only get it at a certain time. TikTok shops have made you feel like the urgency. I need that. It's going to go away soon. I'm going to get that. And so this sort of, again, over consumerism, this is what that bear with the beanie represents to me. Labu Bucks. That was funny, Brandon.
Yes. I mean, you say that, but if you had somebody in your life that's like, yeah, I was thinking, Brandon, are these just cheaper Labubus? Because I've heard those Labubu dolls, which I had a friend of mine that showed me her Labubu doll. It was a screenshot on her phone, and it was $100. But if
people are spending hundreds.
What's the difference between a Labubu that you resell for $500, or if you go to like garage sales and you get an old recliner and you refurbish it and you resell it? Isn't it just kind of like an adorable resellers market?
Yeah, and it's also just like weird, cute things like the Beanie Babies, remember, or the American dolls. Like people want those collectibles. When you say Labubu, it's very funny out loud.
I don't know. Am I saying it right?
No, but just say it one more time.
Labubu doll.
It's very cute.
I think it just like, it makes you happy to say it. So like they've got,
this is unbearable, says Gigi. That's so funny. Good job.
All right. Well, Gigi, we feel you. So we are going to move on. Let's do this one. All right, Tory, we are not talking about this adorable bear. We're talking about another adorable bear, and that would be Jelly Roll. That's right. Which we could use the same picture. As you know, Jelly Roll has taken the country by storm ever since his music started to hit, and I believe his looks.
And also his speeches and he preaches when he speaks. He's like, you will do this. You will come to the dreams you want to make. Like, he's a great speaker. Sorry, keep going.
No, he's got a lot of, what do you call those kind of preachers that like do like a tent revival kind of, you know, pulling those small town and be like, get up, you're laying around. You're better than that. Jesus said, hustle. Yeah, he is, it just really kind of endeared himself to Americans because he's not your typical superstar. He appears overweight. He is a white man with face tattoos, you know, which would previously have been shunned, but you know, culture slow. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when the Philadelphia 76ers airbrushed Allen Iverson's tattoos off of his arms for the team guide, the team media guide. Because they were like, our fans cannot look at this thuggery. And here we are 20 years later, and we have an overweight white male with face tattoos that has a wife that used to be a former dancer. He is a recovering addict, and he has resonated with the people because these advertisers never realized that Jelly Roll is in a lot of people's families.
Yeah.
And they're not scary.
That's right. Now, he has lost a lot of weight, so I'm proud of him forever because it's healthier. But what he has, and we have the video, is he feels that Louis Vuitton, much like when Oprah went into Hermes and they didn't know it was Oprah, and so they profiled her as a Black woman and didn't let her in and treated her horribly. He says that they have profiled him because of how he looks. So let's roll the video.
The Louis Vuitton in Sydney, legitimately just treated us like we were finna come in there and rob that place. I have never been looked at more like a criminal. Listen, the last time I was looked at like a criminal this bad, I was an actual criminal this bad.
So he looks, he's lost a lot of weight, which is great. But, you know, it just goes to show those you remember that part in Pretty Woman where she goes, were you the person I was trying to get help from? And she shows her bag. She goes, yeah. And you work on commission? She goes, big mistake. Big, huge. And it's like when you profile someone like that, you're missing out on. Jelly Roll could have bought how much thousands worth of Louis Vuitton bags and travel and I mean, he could have gone in there wanting to spend a ton. And so his felony convictions stem from a past involving aggravated robbery and possession with intent to sell, for which he did serve prison time. But he does have the cadence of a preacher. That's how I've always felt about him.
Right.
Yeah. So interesting that they profiled him. Do you feel like you've ever been profiled, Al?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've told you before, I think that I'm always, whether it's true or not, I conduct myself as if I'm being looked at in a store. I told you, and you were kind of shocked. I remember I told you years ago that I make sure that I don't carry items around with me in the store, and I make sure my hands are out of my pockets in the store. And it's not a capitulation like, oh, I'm scared the white man's going to do something to me. It's more like, just like, that's how I'm just like, let me just avoid. I think a lot of people of color that are profiled, we're just trying to live our lives. We're not trying to have this big, emotional sentient moment where I'm like, see, I wasn't stealing, all black. You're just like, don't bother me. I'll keep my hands out of my pockets.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks that that's just so ingrained in me. But it is what it is. And sometimes when I'm walking around the store and I have an item I'm about to try on, I'll think about that conversation we had because of how shocked you were by it.
I was so ignorant. I mean, I know about profiling. I know about stores profiling, but the idea that my dear friend would have to think about that every time he goes into a store is absolutely insane. Now, I do want to ask Shelly says I get followed all the time, Al. So interesting. I do want to ask you guys, do you think it's fair to profile someone because of face tattoos? Michael Dean brought that up.
I am so glad you brought that up. That's because he said something right at the end of that I was about to ask you, but you brought it up yourself.
Well, it was Michael Dean.
Thought it,
Michael Dean.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's a really interesting stance because he goes, I haven't been profiled like that since I was really stealing from stores like this. So, arguing the other side, what if you're the Louis Vuitton employee that says,
right,
I get that you guys are coming here making us look like assholes, but our store does get robbery attempts bi-weekly.
Totally. Smash and grab.
The people look like that. Now, I understand people say, well, what if they said it about black people? Look, that is, first of all, that's people that have face tattoos, people that, that first of all, they're not as many as there are black people, but that's where that argument falls apart. You cannot profile people, but it is difficult to ask people that actually work in these places,
right,
not to profile, because if you're a bouncer at a bar, you're profiling. I think this blonde has a fake ID. You know what? Because people that come up and they're acting like her, you are a white woman. This is in a white college town, but he's profiling you because he doesn't want to lose his gig. Totally. They're profiling you because they don't want to lose their merchandise. Yeah. I'm not saying that's right. I am saying that I'm usually going to bear the brunt of that, or people that look like me, or that's people that look like Jelly Roll. But there is part of it when you do talk to people that own these places. I have friends that are merchants, people that sell stuff. They're like twice a week, a gaggle of girls that look like that come in here and they steal from my effing store.
Right.
And it's not about being woke right then. It's about like, here's what that's cost my business.
Yeah. And I
don't own a business. I'm just saying that's what I've observed.
I totally agree with that reasoning. Julia says, I'm a white woman and I've been profiled in a store depending on what I'm wearing. Me too. And famously, Bethany Frankel went into Chanel wearing like not a very dressed up thing, and they wouldn't even let her in the store. So, you have to remember these smash and grabs that happen at the Chanel's, the Louis Vuittons. They smash the windows, they grab everything, and they get out. And so that's been happening more and more. So I do understand what you're saying. That's a fair point too. But it is understandable maybe, but it's not right. Just like Just Me said.
It's absolutely, yes, it's not right. I think
said.
A great way to sum up most things in life.
Totally.
It's not right, but it's understandable.
Totally.
And, you know, going back to the bouncer example, would that bouncer actually turn away somebody that had a legitimate ID? Sometimes, maybe 9 times out of 10, maybe 95 times out of 100. But there are patterns that you have to recognize to have a job like that, to stay alive, you know, whatever. If I'm walking behind any woman of any color and she is getting a bad vibe, I would tell her, I tap her on the shoulder, scare her even worse. If you're worried, you should go. Because whether that hurts my feelings or not, I would tell my daughter, if you're feeling a certain way, react. But also, if you react and you miss, if you end up kicking out Oprah, if you end up kicking out Jelly Roll, them's the breaks too. Life is not if you do this, everything will work out. That's kind of what happens. So I do see it, and I refuse to use the word by both sides. It's messed up that it happened, but I at least understand why it did. Yes. All right, Tory, let's talk about, I think there's never been a time to use this this stinger, because we are talking about somebody very famous. We're talking about Al Jackson. He is a famous man. Tory, a slightly more famous Jackson, Michael. That's right.
Ow!
He's got his biopic.
I always said biopic. I always said biopic on DVL.
You know why you say both? Just to shut the comments down. It's biopic. You can just hear them just like, ma'am, I'm sorry. I don't know what I have done. My bad. So yes, Michael Jackson, the trailer dropped. Michael Dean, of course, I think he's got it for us.
Whoa.
I straight up got goosebumps.
I got goosebumps too. The director, I love that director.
Yes.
And the guy who played Michael, I like all of this. Now, I do have to ask, is this okay due to the allegations and some of the rooms that they found in Neverland? Is this okay to have?
It kind of goes back to what I always say is we saw it with the Subway sandwich tossing. Tory, the people determine what's okay. The people do. And in this case, we'll have a very clear ballot box, and that is how many tickets will be sold. Oh my idea is going to be a shit ton.
I swear to God. I didn't know this, Al. Michael is played by his nephew, Jafar Jackson.
Wow. I mean, look, he is, except for some of the colleagues that are maybe old enough to remember their fandom of, you know, a young Elvis as well as a young Michael. So you can really compare the two, but it's a pantheon of in terms of being that famous, not world famous, that famous, just that famous. I think there's Taylor Swift. I think there's Michael Jackson. I think there's the Beatles. I think there's Muhammad Ali.
There's Elvis.
And Elvis.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know how many people have gotten.
Maybe Madonna.
Maybe. Wow. Madonna was famous. She could have gone to Wembley, but Madonna wasn't doing what Taylor Swift is doing, which is shifting a nation's GDP.
I totally agree with you.
Affecting the housing market because people are buying up Airbnbs. There's it's like a tidal wave that some people, and I think that list is small because there's only been a handful of people that have everybody's attention like that. And they just don't make them like that anymore.
No, I do want to bring up Lucy's point, because she says, I was just going to say, as a molested child, first off, we're so sorry that you went through that. And thank you for being honest. I have a hard time not knowing if he did it or not. I also feel weird when my music starts playing Michael Jackson. Of course, I want to listen to Man in the Mirror. I want to sing it. I know every lyric. I know everything about it. I know the change. Like, I know so much. But there's a sense of like it's a little, is this an R. Kelly? Is this like there's real concern here with the rooms that they found.
Real legitimate concern.
Yeah, and the alarm systems at Neverland that are, and just the allegations from multiple people of being left alone and being allegedly molested. And so you want to celebrate this enormously talented human being. I mean, just out of the world crazy talented. And then you also get this weird like feeling. So I just didn't know if I'm the only one about
By the way, let's talk about that second. I just want to address this really quickly. Julia said Beyonce. I think she's there. I will say this about Beyonce. She is so careful about her appearances that we don't see her enough to, like Taylor Swift. I think you'd see a cutaway of her at a football game. You'd see her bringing a fan on stage. She did a 279 city tour or something over the course of a couple of years. She is out there a little bit more, but yes, Beyonce's on that Mount Rushmore for sure. Now, the second and more important thing, Tory, is I think that it cannot be unsaid. I don't think I can ever hear Michael Jackson's name without thinking about the allegations.
He's never convicted, by the way. I just want to be clear about that.
And that's part of it. He is one of those people that I always say, what if Bill Cosby had died 3 years before the allegations? I was just thinking Cosby. What if Hugh Hefner had lived long enough to face whatever things went down that were alleged at the Playboy Mansion? A lot of things in life are weird timing issues. And if you think about if Bill Cosby had passed away before the allegations had come out, they probably wouldn't have come out or been met with so much attention. And there would probably be statues of Bill Cosby.
Of course. He was like the father. I mean, that was appointment television for us to watch the Cosby Show. I think this mix is interesting. The trailer looks great. I completely agree. But what Emma says is, I don't particularly care for his music. I can't agree with that. But she says the allegations are enough to make me not want to see. You're going to see a block of people being like, and boycotting. And I mean, there's going to be people very upset and people who are just diehard. I don't care. And can you separate the art from the artist? Like with Bill Cosby, I couldn't watch another Cosby Show with thinking of what he did to those women. But for instance, I love Picasso. He was a horrendous womanizer and put cigarette butts out on women and was not a nice man. So it's like sometimes we pick and choose who's okay to like get away with it and who's not.
Apparently Frank Sinatra was no joy.
Yeah, right. Johnny Carson was
Carson was
sure.
I know a guy that had a very bad situation with him when he was a young comic.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, because it just us talking about it made me think about the weird timing of everything. If Rudy Giuliani had died 2 years after 9/11, they would have named an effing airport after him.
Of course they would have. Of course. He was the people's mayor.
Would probably be called Giuliani International. And he lived long enough to end up on a bed in a hotel on Borat.
Yeah, and he was caught with taking his pants down. I agree with All Eyes on Mimi. We do watch Woody Allen movies, and there have been so many allegations about his stepdaughter, now wife. He's actually moved to France and Europe because he can't stand being in the United States. No one will put out his films, so he goes to the Europe
because
market.
he is toxic.
Yeah,
and I mean, Woody Allen does have some actors that still work with him, but he was one of those people. I think he slid under the radar because he was kind of pre-internet.
Yeah.
But after a while, people are like, "Is he at the game with his daughter? Hold up, dog." And so he was one of those people that kind of skated for a long time. So I mean, I think that is a fascinating thing that you brought up. But Tory, I'm going to bring this up, and I don't even know if you're ready, girl. Tory, we're talking about Vibey Sports, and I think you know why, because it's Thursday, time for a little Thursday night football. Tory, you already know who's playing, but I'll refresh your memory. It is the Las Vegas
Raiders.
There you go, playing against the Denver Broncos. They're playing here in Denver, so I need to get up out of town before traffic gets bananas, huh?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I also want to say I did call Miami Dolphins losing their coach, but instead the coach, they fired their general manager. So I was so close.
Yes,
so close.
But you were exactly right. And you called the fact that your Washington Commanders were going to lose.
Yes,
Tory,
I did.
I will compile your record this weekend.
Yes.
And you got a winning record for sure. So how about we just keep that going? You really do.
I really do.
Tory, I'm going to just set the stage for you. Geno Smith, the quarterback of the Raiders, like a high draft pick, went to the New York Jets, career flamed out. He was considered a bust. It looked like his career was over, but he had one of the best quotes, and I live my life by this. Geno Smith was playing tonight, said, "The league wrote me off, but I didn't write back."
Whoa!
So, isn't that great?
That's such a good line.
Isn't that great? The league
I'm going
wrote
to use
me
that
off,
line.
but
That's
I didn't
phenomenal.
write back. And so I kind of just like him because he went to school in West Virginia and just had it, but he never gave up. He finally made it, got his own team, the Raiders. But guess what? Life isn't a fairy tale. He's been sucking this year.
So they did write him off. Right. I do have a strong vibe.
Yes.
I have a strong vibe that the Raiders are going to lose badly. Now, the Broncos, obviously, I'm a Denver Bronco fan, obviously, but they are 7-2, according to Michael Dean, and the Raiders are 2-6. So I don't 100% know what that means, but my vibes say that the Broncos are stronger, and it's a home game. You know what I mean? There's something about the home game. The weather outside is delightful. It's just a Denver fall take. So it's going to be Denver, and it's going to be 38 to like 14.
38-14. Well, Tory, I got you written down. I'm going to put
I don't know if that's even possible.
It's very possible.
Okay.
But Tory, let's just say, if Las Vegas is going to win, what should they rely on specifically with their defense to stop Denver?
I think it's going to be their special teams, Al. That's what I think you're missing. The special teams,
it has nothing to do with defense. Special teams.
No, it's going to be a really good show for the special team, and there will be a return touchdown from a kick.
Okay, so they need to do the special teams. Okay, and I'm going to put return touchdown. Now, lastly, you're predicting Denver to win, and I agree with you, but like, what should we look for? Like, what is Denver going to be doing on offense, specifically with their wide receivers?
They're going to be taking bold plays, so a lot of long throws to their wide receivers, and it's going to be gutsy and daring, and they're going to play some new plays they haven't played before, and it's going to be long throws.
Long throws. All right, Tory. That has been that Vibey Sports. We got a second. Let's do this. Do you got a fun fact for us?
I sure do.
Where's the damn thing? All right. Tory's fun fact of the day.
Are you guys ready? A quarter of your bones, a quarter of all of your bones in your body are, where do you think?
Your face.
Good call. You guys write in if you think face was a really good question. If anyone wants to say, wrap it up, Michael Dean says. So I'm just going to say it's going to be, and Michael Dean write hands. The answer is your feet. Your feet have a quarter of the bones of all of your body. Your feet.
What are those bones called? Starts with a T.
The tibia, the fibula.
No, that's your shin.
The femur.
No, that's your thigh.
Okay, it is the tibia. No, that's
your shin.
The toes.
The tarsals.
Your phalanges.
Phalanges are your fingers.
Tarsals.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. And with that, we got to wrap it up from Michael Dean. I'll tell you what, colleagues, we appreciate y'all joining us. Watch the football game tonight. Let's see if Tory was right. Michael Dean, take us out.